All right, now I'm going to teach you how to run some reliability analyses. Just generate Chromebox alpha from a Likert for variables that are measured on a Likert scale. Now, I've already run a factor analysis in the background. I'm happy to show you guys how to do that too when we meet in lab, but that's not something that I'm expecting you to need to know how to do. So I'm just going to cut to the results of my factor analysis, which were that basically my food aversions questionnaire revealed some very easily identifiable subscales. These were seafood, red meats, vegetables, and sort of creamy cheeses and yogurt and mayonnaise, white creamy things. So I'm going to run some reliability analyses on just those subscales. And I do it by going Analyze, Scale, Reliability Analysis, and clicking the foods already over. I've already done this for the first one. And I'm just going to label this first scale white creamy cheeses. I'm going to click on Statistics and ask for descriptives for item, scale, and scale of item deleted. I could also get means and variances and various descriptive statistics for each of these, but that's not really necessary. And now I'm just going to paste these into a syntax file and run it. And my output, look at that. I have a beautiful Chromebox alpha with only 6 items, which is really fantastic. And it also will give me an indication of what my alpha would be if I deleted any of these items. And I can see here that in each case, if I were to delete any of the items, it would actually reduce my alpha. So I'm going to keep all of these in and consider this to be a very nice subscale with a good reliability. I'm also going to just generate this for my seafood factor too. Same thing, scale, reliability. I'm just going to click over my seafoods. Anchovies actually behaved differently. I'm not going to put them on my seafood factor because people have very strong opinions about anchovies. A large portion of the sample said they would not eat them under any circumstances. Canned tuna was also a little bit different, but I'll go ahead and include anchovies here to see what happens. Just kind of because now I wonder if it's going to behave differently on reliability. Because I could have made these subscales perfectly justifiable on the basis of face validity. As it happened, factor analysis identified them, but I would have been justified in saying, I think all of these things go together in a predictable way, and so here's the subscale that I'm creating based on the face value of the items. That's perfectly fine. And that's perfectly fine for you guys to do the same for now. Funny how seafood itself is its own item. We'll see what happens. That one might contribute the most information. I think that I have all my seafood items now. So I'll just run this and see what happens. Same statistics as before, just checking, making sure they're there. And let's see what happens. Now I have a very high Chromebox alpha again with only 7 items. And look at that. It looks like if I were to get rid of anchovies, my alpha would actually increase some. It's going from a 0.89 to a 0.91. It's kind of debatable as to whether or not that's significant enough of an improvement to justify dropping this one item. I actually am tempted to drop it because you can see in looking at the item means how strongly people felt about anchovies. So we can actually see that as a standalone item, it behaves a little bit more strongly than some of the rest of these, much more aversive than seafood by itself. But then you can see that oysters, clams, and mussels are sort of a close second. So this is pretty interesting. And there we go. That's how you calculate reliabilities.